Today we're going behind the scenes on a 2-camera interview setup. I'm gonna be using my Canon C70 and R5 C for this, using the recording formats that I talked about in an earlier video, which is XFAVC, long GAP, 4K, because that gives a good balance of quality and file size. If you want more details on that and also a little breakdown and test of some of the other recording formats on the R5 C, watch that other video. I recently picked up some new Sigma EF lenses, so we'll test those out today as well. On the wider end, we've got the Sigma 35mm, and on the tighter shot, the Sigma 85. Because these are EF lenses, I'm using some neat adapters for each of the cameras, both of which have Canon's RF mount. Canon's Speed Booster EF adapter is a perfect option for the C70. It gives you a field of view that's closer to full frame when using full frame glass, and also lets in a stop more light. I've got this on my C70 a lot, except when I'm shooting on everyone's favorite for a reason, Sigma 18-35. Having a Super 35 sensor combined with this 0.71 times full frame adapter is a killer combination that really highlights the versatility of the C70. Really, what a camera. And on the R5C, I've got an adapter that I'm really excited about. Unlike the C70, the R5C doesn't have built-in ND filters. And wouldn't you know it, Canon will actually sell you an EF to RF adapter with a slot that you can drop in a variable ND filter. While it's not perfect and is a bit touchier than I'd like, it's an excellent alternative to buying a full-on matte box and filter system that adds bulk to a run-and-gun setup. While we're still on the R5C, let's talk about the other things that we've got attached to it. The R5C is a great camera, but in addition to its lack of internal NDs, there are a couple of other pain points that we need to address before it's production ready. Number one for sure is power. We all know those puny Canon LPE6 batteries just don't cut it for video. For photo, they're great. Take a few of those out with you, shoot some photos, you're good all day long. But for video, you're gonna need something with a lot more juice. I've been really happy with this external battery solution from Core SWX. Blackmagic users might know about this already, but this is really just a big battery that you can mount your camera on and run a dummy battery into the camera. I've got a tripod plate permanently attached to the bottom of it, so it's really easy to pop this on and power the camera for hours. I know Canon cameras can be particular about how you power them, like they're kind of sensitive and might, I don't know, throw you some warnings, and so follow in my footsteps at your own risk. I haven't had any problems with it so far, but I just want to say this might not necessarily be a manufacturer-approved solution to the power problem. You could always run a USB-C power bank into it, and I do have one of those as a backup, but this battery mounted on the bottom of the camera is just a lot more compact and mounts way better on my tripod. Okay, here's the last thing we'll talk about on the R5C today. The Tascam XLR 2D, an XLR audio adapter from Tascam that fits straight into the multi-function shoe on top of the camera. I call it a hot shoe. The website and all of the materials seem to be calling it like a multi-function interface port, something like that. Whatever, it's, you know, the spot that you can put stuff on top of your camera. It communicates with the camera, it powers the external adapter with the camera power, and that's really slick. It was super easy to set up, and right now it's got a shotgun mic running into it. So far it seems to be working great. The mic that I've got going into the R5C via that Tascam XLR adapter is the Sennheiser MKH 416, which you're hearing now. On my C70, I actually have the Sennheiser MKE 600. That's what you're hearing now. And here's the complete R5C build. You have to build out the R5C a lot more than the C70 just to get to the same basic level of functionality. But once you do that, you do have an 8K RAW capable hard drive devouring monster that you can kind of throw at anything, and it's a pretty amazing camera. You might have noticed a few of these attached to each of the cameras. This is, admittedly, a new one for me. These are some timecode generators made by Tentacle Sync. I've been lucky in that I haven't ruined any productions by not being able to get the video and audio sources to sync up yet. So this is definitely one of those peace of mind purchases. It seems a little, I don't know, flimsy to have all of these lights and cameras and microphones and rely on just like a in post to get everything synced up. It was about time for a little bit more of a robust workflow. A quick note on these Tentacle Sync devices, I'm running a Timecode by audio setup right now, even though both of my cameras have Timecode ports. The reason for that is that I just don't have the right cables. I got these in the mail yesterday, and honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't have timecode cables. They just have the 3.5mm to 3.5mm. So for now, these are plugged into the mic ports on each of the cameras and are generating an endless stream of beeps and boops that DaVinci can read as timecode. That works great for me since I'm a Resolve editor. Anyone editing in Premiere, or I guess I don't know about Final Cut or Avid, but you're gonna want actual timecode. Until I can get the new cables, this is an easy enough workaround. So speaking of audio, let's talk about how we're capturing my voice right now. I almost always have a dedicated audio recorder on set, and will always have that for bigger productions. But earlier this year, I found myself in a situation where it was a really stripped down interview setup, and I had a boom mic going straight into my C70, and it worked out just fine. Kind of one of the benefits of having like a nice all-in-one cinema camera. Not quite used to that yet. Using a dedicated audio recorder like the Zoom F6, which I've been using for about a year now, is definitely what I want to stay doing for larger productions, because having that 32-bit float recording is super, super useful and just gives a little bit more peace of mind when you're doing 100 things on set and you don't need to worry about setting your levels. That doesn't mean that you can't get your mics set correctly. You gotta put them in the right spot still, of course, but it's just one less thing you need to worry about. But for today, I'm running microphones straight into the cameras because I think it'd be kind of fun to test that out. And I got that new Tascam adapter and I want to see how that works. All right, and finally for lighting, I've got an Amaran F22C as the key and an Amaran P60C as the backlight. This F22C is new to me as well. That just came this week. And to be honest, I am not sure how to feel about it quite yet. It's not quite big enough for what I want. I would like this to be, like a go-to key light that I can throw up anywhere I want and have it be super portable. It is very, very portable. That's kind of the thing with the Amaran lights I've noticed. They're very easy to carry with you. Just make sure that you budget enough time for the setup and teardown, because they're packed in so small and you gotta unfold everything and Velcro things in the right spots. It's a little bit finicky. My go-to key is what everybody uses, is the Aputure 120D with a light dome. I know it's basic, but it works, and it works for a reason. It just looks good. Being able to control these with the Tentacle Sync app on your phone is pretty nice, I guess. I am not really in a position where I'm putting these in really hard to reach corners yet, but I have the option, so it's there. And so this is what it looks like when you put it all together. You've got cameras, you've got lights, you've got microphones. What more do you need? You can record anything you want. Thanks for watching.